Rabbi Schneerson, my family, along with many other Jews, were able to escape. We were among the fortunate ones, but some were left behind, and to this day, some of my family remains in Tehran, unable to openly support the only Jewish state in the world. Before the regime's rise, Iran and Israel shared a friendship that spanned cultures and hope for a peaceful future. But when the regime came to power, that bond was torn apart. The same regime that drove us out now reaches its tentacles across the Middle East, funding terror groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. This is not just a war against Israel. It is a war against life, against freedom, and against human dignity. The people of Iran, who once embraced progress and peace, now suffer under the cruelest of regimes. We long for the day they too can stand free. And yet the pain continues. We lost a family member on October 7th in the most brutal and inhumane way imaginable. An act of terror funded by the same regime that drove us out all those years ago. It is hard to put into words the grief and shock of that loss. And in this dark time, it often feels like the world is turning its back, siding with the very terrorists who seek to destroy us. We cannot ignore the horrors, from the rape and torture of innocents in Israel to the brutal killings of Mahsa Amini by the Islamic regime for not wearing her headscarf. These are acts of pure evil. But let me be clear, we will not succumb and we will not surrender, not to threats against our safety or our sovereignty. We have the right to exist, and we do not need to answer to anyone for that right. Truth and the light will always prevail. The oppression of freedom-loving Iranians must end, and the world must stop siding with terror. The Iranian people recognize the lies being fed to the West because they have lived under those lies for 45 long years. That is why it is so important for us to stand together now in unity and in strength. As Martin Niemöller famously said, "Then they came for the Jews and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me." We must not wait until it's too late. Just as in World War II, when the Allies demanded the unconditional surrender of the Nazis, today we must collectively demand the unconditional surrender of Hamas and the immediate release of our 101 hostages. The freedom-loving people of Iran stand with the freedom-loving people of Israel. Your fight is our fight, and together we will prevail against the Islamic regime in Iran and its proxies across the Middle East, whose goal is to eradicate the only Jewish state, to pave the way for an Islamic caliphate. Thank you, Israel, for your courage in eliminating arch-terrorist Nasrallah, who was responsible for the death of hundreds of thousands of Muslim, Christians, and Jews alike. The only way to push away the darkness is by adding light, by standing up for truth and doing acts of goodness and kindness. May we be blessed with better and peaceful days ahead, with a free Iran as a strong ally to secure and save Israel. Khoda komak koneh mardom Israel va mardom Iran. May God bless the people of Israel and Iran. Am Yisrael.